This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, I might even have to check my calendar. This might be the weekend that autumn officially starts. Either way, it's any day. And with that is a change in season. And as we progress into time, sometimes things that we thought were gone come back. We're going to talk about that today and so much more. She's a psychotherapist, lots of insight she provides. We've gotten so much ever since we've been with her. Dr. Hadass Harel is back with us. How are you doing today?
I am great, Steve, and it is so wonderful to be back with you. I am just so delighted to see you. Just so great to be with you today.
Likewise. Yeah. And I know that you've been traveling. We had some tech issues, but it's all been ironed out. Everything is working great. And actually, all right, I checked my calendar. Monday begins autumn in
Wow.
Northern Hemisphere. And with that, a change. I look at this. I love summer. I love warm. Autumn,
As
fall.
do I.
It's okay, but there are some, here in the Northeast, chillier days. And then you know what's coming, winter. But I also look at this time almost like New Year's, where things radically change. When you go from spring to summer, it's a little bit of a change. The weather's a little different. There's more summer activities, but it seems like when you go from summer to fall, things change. Kids go back to school. It's just a different mindset. So I look at it, as a time to take inventory. What do we got going on here? What are we going to change? Because the seasons are changing. How do you view it?
It just came to my mind as you were speaking. It's a loss in a way. It's a loss that we need to train ourselves to think about, or we need to offer to ourselves to think about as a loss that is also a gift.
Hmm.
Because we look around us, as you say, I mean, I don't like being cold, and I live in New England. I live just slightly north, and so the leaves are falling. My toes are freezing when I go out in the morning, and my trees are getting red, and I am not pleased. Um, and yet there are gifts. And I need to see them. We need to see them. And so it's a season that is full of small gifts. And it's a time where we need to recognize the gifts. And it's a time when we need to let things go on the water and know that they will come back to us. And it's a time where things are coming back to us. And I've had much I'm almost reluctant to say it, but it's true. I've had much proof of small spiritual returns,
Hmm.
of even fruit of the season suddenly showing up, and I'm like, oh, I like this, and it's coming back to me.
Do you
And
think it's
uh,
because of this time of year that makes that different?
you become in a way because it's like it's crisp and there are scents in the air and you say
Hmm.
you become more alert that things are coming back. And we know these things and you say, oh, this is returning. Uh it's like those footsteps of things that we recognize and we say, yeah, end of
Hmm.
season, beginning of season, a feeling of cycles, that feeling of things are coming back.
You know, I can see what you're saying because it's the air is crisper. It almost wakes up your senses
Yes,
to see things
right?
that you didn't see before. That's not to say that you said that things that you thought were lost come back in the fall. Might be happening all the time, but we're more aware of it.
And a feeling that you want to bless that. It's just that feeling of you want to hold it in your hand and say, yeah, oh, hello, you're back. And in a lot of traditions, this is the beginning of the year.
Didn't know that. And what did I just say before? For me, it almost feels like a mini New Year's because of the
Yes,
change.
and actually, because I've traveled and I've spent a lot of time in India. And also a lot of I just came back from Israel. And in both of those traditions, this is the beginning of the year.
Wow. Hmm.
The fall is the beginning of the year. Both of those are lunar traditions, where the Christian tradition is based on the sun. But both Hinduism and Judaism have a lunar year. And with the lunar year, this is the beginning of the year.
Interesting. And if you look at astrology, this we're in a time now with I believe this weekend is some type of solar eclipse, a minor solar eclipse, but there's a renewal. So an
Yes.
astrologer told me that just the other day that this is a different time period. This is maybe a time of reflection. So now when you say the things that you thought were lost come back, um, any examples of things that maybe you've realized that even recently that returned, or maybe you didn't see?
I will give a tacky example, but people who were so burnt out and not present that all of a sudden showed up back in my life
Hmm.
and became really present. And objects, of course, because I came back home. And plans, which sometimes you think are dead, are like, who knew you could come back to life? You.
Hmm.
Because you know already that I do a lot of work with my plants and I take care of them and love them.
I
And
just I
don't get
just watered mine outside before I came here. Not
yeah,
even kidding.
exactly. So
Yeah.
if you get me started, and I like doing natural things for my plants, so I do things for them, like give them like cinnamon sticks instead of unnatural things to help them handle stuff um and it works better for the environment and the plants themselves.
Hmm.
Um, and so a lot of things are just renewing themselves in a beautiful way. And then we remember that actually in the year before, it was the same thing. And so we say over time, this is just true.
What about those who don't embrace change? Now we're in a change of season, and many of us, you know, that's not a big deal, but change in general is
Oh, we
crippling.
all hate change. Change is very rattling and disruptive to the system. And you and I are on the same page with not loving the cold, right? And we need to be so nice to ourselves around that. And I actually went to the gym in the morning, and I will tell you, I dance, but I dance also in water.
Oh wow.
You think I like when the water is a few temperatures below what it usually is? I don't. None of us. I mean, as a therapist, I mean, obviously, we don't like change. Change is disruptive. We are not going to embrace it. It's very helpful. Um, and it's funny because recently, I mean, this is an example of um, I consent to take on new clients. Once I already have them, I love them. I love my clients. I will admit it. I love my clients. But before I know them, who wants to meet new people? Are you excited about new people before you know them? I don't know if I will like them.
Hmm.
I may like them, I may not like them. So once I meet them, I love them. But because the universe is great, the universe sends to me the people who need me, and I am blessed to meet them. But before I meet them, I'm like, I have enough people in my life.
Well, isn't that also a product of getting outside your comfort zone? Because now you have to engage
Absolutely.
embracing discomfort.
Who wants to get beyond their comfort zone?
Hmm. I got you. I
We
totally,
love a comfort zone. That's why it's called comfort zone,
yep.
right? Comfort zone is comfortable, it's cozy, it's fuzzy and soft, and it's warm, and it's lovely. I mean, yes, for a moment we may want to jump out of airplanes. I mean, we've done things like that, but we don't do it every day.
Funny you should say that because it was my goal this past summer to go skydiving.
Yes.
And I tried. I was going to go with my son. We've never gone before. It didn't happen because the first time he texted me the morning of and said, I have a cold. Is that bad? And I'm like, we can't do this if you have a cold. You can't clear your sinuses 10,000 feet up. The next time they delayed it and then he had to go to work. So it was just too tight. And then the last time, it was like a couple of weekends after, apparently the upper winds were too strong and they sent a text and said, yeah, no, no, no diving today. And I'm a little disappointed because the year before I wanted to do it, and honestly, I just wasn't ready for it. This year, I was like, open a door, I'm jumping out, all good. Just change my mindset. But I look at it as maybe there was a reason. I don't
The
know what the reason is.
universe was not recommending it at the present time.
I feel that. But you know what? Somebody said to me the other day about this. They said, maybe you need to go alone.
That is also true because taking someone along for the ride is not really getting out of your comfort zone. Maybe you needed to do it as a solitary walk.
And then loop him in. I don't think he would even be bothered by me going without him for the first time. I don't think he would look at it and say, well, should have waited for me. I wanted to do it together. He wouldn't even care. He'd be like, all right, let's go.
Maybe you needed to be able to tell him the story of doing that, and he needed to hear the narrative of it from you. Because if you reached your point of readiness, you needed to do it, have a narrative, tell him about it, and then tell him and then bring it in when you already have the experience and the narrative, and then invite him that way.
I'm kind of feeling it. I don't think it's a product of the universe saying, danger, don't go. We're going to put a block up. No,
No, it was
no.
just like it doesn't need to come in collaboration, but
Yeah.
it needs to come in you're going ahead and then him coming second. Maybe it was not at a point of readiness for him,
Yep.
and maybe it would not have been right
I
for it
feel
to
that.
happen that way.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's not much time left before they end the season for that. Maybe I could squeeze that in. It's like another couple of weeks.
But maybe the rhythm is completely okay for it to happen in the coming season. And a
Sure.
lot of times when we get a little bit too, I know for me, when I get too attached to something happening at a particular time, things happen like airports become closed. And then I learned that it's perfectly fine. Like when I thought I got so attached to going and fixing my place in Israel, and I came a year and a half later and nothing was wrong at it. Nothing was wrong there, and I could get everything achieved when I went this time. So sometimes the universe says just chill and go when it's safe.
Mm-hmm.
Chill and go when maybe if you go in the beginning of the next season.
Yep.
And I have had times when I went when the universe said, well, there's an opening now, you go now. And then all of a sudden, the time dimension folds up to make things just so blessed and so correct that I reach places at sometimes even a discount, but also a time dimension that I get there faster than I thought. And everything is just so blessed and so beautiful that it may be that it will also synchronize for him. It will synchronize for him to be just so good for him at that time. It may also come for him as a lesson that he needs more than he needs it now.
Mm-hmm. And maybe he's fearful and he's not expressing it. And me going first and then showing him, yeah, this is how it went. It's all good. This is what you got to watch out for. This is what all of that. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Potentially, he needs to learn it from you and not with you, which is
Yes.
different.
Yes. How do we, we're talking about change. What are there suggestions for things that we can do to accept change, to embrace the discomfort?
A lot of times it really is learning things not because we think we ought to, but because our hearts really open up to it, not because we think we should. And I was joking about the issue of new clients because obviously I do love working with clients. It's what I do. But I also trust that the universe brings them when they should. I see clients when the universe brings them at the right time, at the right place. And so I try, it's almost like, you know how yoga position stands, where you position your feet a certain way. You try to either stand, if you can't stand in soil, you stand as if you are standing in soil. You position your arms a certain way mentally, if not physically. You stand in a receiving position. You allow yourself to stand not in fear. You hold your hands. I will put them
Uh-huh.
here. I have a card that has my hands in this way. You position yourself in a receiving position, and if you are fearful of what universe will bring, you really look at what it is that frightens you. Because sometimes there is something in our lives that frightens us, and we try to discern. Because when we are afraid, it's always justified. And when someone else in our lives that we're trying to team up with on something is afraid, it's always justified. We may not be afraid of what we think we are afraid. So it's good to discern what it is that frightens us, because sometimes it is something very small, such as, for example, maybe your son wants to learn from you rather than with you.
Mm-hmm.
So often we say, I will take you by the hand and I will show you. And maybe it is a situation where we want someone else to go first and show us how to do it. So subtleties are very important. And so sometimes we want to step back and look at how something is done. Sometimes we need to look at the bigger picture and see what is really going on here. And we need to, very often with ourselves, we are pushy. we're not tolerant. We say, well, we really should be happy about change. We really should take it better. And yes, we could embrace change, but if we're not ready, it may not go well.
Mm. And then there's the other type of change where you look to make change in your life to make it better. For example, changing situations, maybe evaluating the people in your life and determining are they taking my power or do they support me? And sometimes that's a hard one to just be, all right, we're
Am
we're
I
not connected the same way.
embracing someone as a teacher? And maybe this person is taking my power a little bit, and maybe I should learn from this person by putting a little bit of distance
Hmm.
between them and me. And maybe I should learn from them by observing them and not by trying to take their hand and be with them.
One thing to remember though, if you feel that somebody's taking your power, you're allowing it.
Absolutely.
We forget
And
that.
maybe I should observe the situation
Mm.
sufficiently in order to discern that. Because maybe they are taking my power and I am not even aware of that.
Then there's that. Yes. But ultimately, we have choice. A lot of us will say, this person, they're a mental drain on me. It's, we,
But even to discern that, we may not even be at the point of discerning that. We may still be thinking they're a gift.
yes. Oh, well, yeah, then there's that. Yeah.
So you are already at a very advanced point.
Well, to be very, very honest, I always am. I'm practicing it now. I'm taking inventory, and it's not a negative thing. People,
It's a fantastic thing. It's not only just not uh, it's a fantastic thing to be taking. In fact, it's something that we so much recommend to be taking frequent inventory and also to give ourselves permission to call things what they are,
mm,
to give ourselves the right to say the power should be here. And I think I will take this a little bit back because I am placing my hands on my solar plexus because that's where the balance of power should be in us and in our gut and in our heart. And this is where the power should be centered and not in someone else. The power of us, I so much agree with you that the center of control, we should not be someone else's puppet.
mm. But it also takes courage to recognize that and react to that.
And I will also like to add to the wisdom of what you are what you are saying. I would like to add to that the right to name that.
Mm.
Because so often backtracking, we don't dare to name it.
Now, final question, because we're just about out of time.
Yes.
When we name it, is it an individual thing? So, what do I mean by that? You take an inventory in your life. What doesn't support me anymore? Here's a situation, and here's an unrelated person. There, two different. Could be a second person. Do they all get a different name for you to identify them? Does that make sense?
Or is it a general phenomena of something that I am allowing in my life? Is that what you mean?
Potentially, but giving them a name other than, let's say, if it's people and you're looking to analyze whether they fit your life anymore or not,
Or a group of people? Is that what you're describing?
or an individual.
Or something that I allow as a general phenomena that is happening in my life? Is that what you're describing?
Pretty much, yeah.
So something that I allow in general to happen in my life, but then there would be the people, the specific people that are the examples of this occurring in my life. Therefore, there's a phenomena that is happening in my life repeatedly. And here is the person that is doing it now. And here's the person who was doing it when I was 25. And here's the person that was doing it when I was 32. So it's almost like different faces enacting the same damage. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Yep.
So it would actually be helpful to name the damage and then name the faces. And I will actually also add an exercise that is really helpful sometime. You know how people do vision boards?
Got one right on the wall right over there.
Precisely. So actually putting the faces of the people, when you talk about this is the damage I allow in my life, to put the faces of the people on the particular, put the people of the actual people, or at least write the name. If someone is really creative on almost would put like a cartoon character that is being my villain, at very least put letters under the name of the cartoon character that came to be a villain in my life. At the very least, write the name on it. Who is doing it now? Who did it when I was 16? Who did it when I was 40?
And
Because the naming is helpful. And
this,
you know what? This is so brilliant. This concept that you just labeled now, I'm almost tempted to ask you if we could continue this when we meet again.
I agree. Because we're in new territory here, and it's not that we're being negative, because
No, we're being illuminating
as you take
and
inventory,
helpful to people.
it makes you a better person, but the person that you may think that I need to eliminate in my life or just move them over to the side, you may be doing them a favor. You
It's
know,
cleansing. It's
right.
cleansing.
That's it. You take a shower every day. Why not look at
It's
it that way?
cleansing the psyche and the soul and our way of being.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna press the pause button. How do we find you? How do we connect with you?
Well, my number, my actual number, but also on WhatsApp, if you happen to like it or not be in the country, my number is 508 631 7649. And you can also just find me on the web. And I'm Dr. Hadass Harel, and I'm also here with Steve every week,
Looking
which is
forward.
such a pleasure.
Likewise. And it's almost as if you validate things I'm thinking. I'm sure you do it for others and just looking at things in a different way. Thank you for today. Looking forward next time we get together. We'll be taking inventory in the meantime.
Yes, Steve, this was so awesome. It's
Thank
so
you.
great to be with you.
You too. All right. Have a great weekend. We'll talk soon. Thanks. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.